Hello and welcome everyone, I'm Madals and this is game number 2 of a best of 3. It is going to be pretty spectacular because game 1, if that was anything to go by, these two are incredibly evenly matched, both have some fairly good decision making. And above all else, both went for some pretty interesting strategies. But Neoplanet S will be the map, and in the top right position, we have got the yellow Zerg player. It is LoweLy. And his opponent down in the bottom left, the purple Terran player, it is QXC. Now, of course, game 1 was ridiculously close. There was a lot of pressure being put on by QXC. He went very macro-economically orientated for an early game build, and then he just followed that up by just macroing up and then putting on pressure after pressure after pressure. LoweLy somehow held it off. He then did some great stuff with speedlings, picking off reinforcements as they made their way across the map, while at the same time holding off the main assault. Then things sort of swung into LoweLy's favour as he got some good counter aggression, but unfortunately for him, QXC had already taken a fourth and fifth base, which just meant that he had too much and could just outproduce that of his opponent. And then one misstep with Broodlords meant that LoweLy was unable to really come back into the game. So game 1 went to QXC. This is game number 2. Can LoweLy level this out, take it to an ace game? We'll have to wait and see. Of course, Neoplanet S is one of those maps where early aggression can be quite common. Especially two-base plays, really quite a usual thing to see, because taking a third for Terran and Protoss isn't the easiest move in the world. Actually, taking a third for Zerg isn't particularly fine either, so definitely a map which is much more catered towards a lot quicker games, but that's not always the case. I have seen some quite long ones on Neoplanet S, but generally speaking, some funky games definitely do come out. This game, LoweLy, of course, did go for the 15 hatch, 15 pool rather, so very normal opening, a lot different to game number 1, where he went for that early pull and the really early aggression with Zerglings, which unfortunately didn't do much. QXC though, he's going Reapers, which is a really common thing to do on this map because of the amount of cliff area that you can utilize. However, Reapers against Zerg aren't stupidly effective because Queens get out relatively early, Queens can hold it back. The big thing that you can hope to achieve with Reapers is, well, if you get a drone kill, that's great. But more importantly is to try and make sure that any Zerglings that come out onto the field are easily dispatched with, and you actually just force your opponent to make a lot of lings as opposed to droning up, which is, in a sense, the same thing as killing off some drones, because it still stuns their economy a little bit. So we'll have to wait and see whether QXC is going to be able to do that, but LoweLy straight away with 6 Zerglings on their way out. Saw that there was no command center down straight away, so is just going to be a little bit more cautious by getting those Zerglings out. 2 Queens on their way. One drone is going to morph into an extractor, the other drone is going to have to morph into another extractor, so good ways of keeping your drones alive, always a good move to make. Those extractors probably will get cancelled fairly soon. The Zergling's going to try and get into a good position. Of course, Reapers can't escape off this cliff, which leaves a potential for it to get trapped, but as we see, QXC, just with good control for the time being, is managing to keep his way back. We see these 2 extractors aren't actually going to get cancelled. LoweLy there just like, well, I guess I'll just keep them as extractors, because I'll need them later on anyway. The Queens are now out, though. The second Reaper is also on its way across the map. So 2 Reapers up against some Queens, well, it can work, especially if the Zerglings get a nice round like that, but with combat drugs they can heal up very quickly. The Queen's still pushing forward more, getting a couple more shots off. Behind this, QXC just taking his expansion, getting up the factory and the reactor, and a second gas. This second gas just means that he's going to keep applying the pressure, keep trying to do as much as possible, but LoweLy, he's now held off these Reapers quite nicely. Got Zerglings up here on a nice little patrol command in case they try and pop up back into the main. More Queens coming down as well. These 4 Queens are going to be able to force back the Reapers really quite effectively, especially when you're pushing the creep back. We can see the creep being kept slightly further back, so the Queens can be in front of it to prevent the tumors getting sniped off by the Reapers there. And oh, a really nice early armory. That means Hellbat drops are probably in store. These Reapers trying to poke up. They do manage to get in. The Zerglings not able to get the surround required, so that means they could get taken out. At the same time, though, the Queen's pushing forward. They're going to try and get a kill on a Reaper. 1 Reaper goes down. Only 1 remaining. This is looking a lot more comfortable now for LoweLy. But LoweLy hasn't yet identified that the armory is coming down. Does, I believe, know about that. Oh no, he doesn't. He hasn't seen the natural yet, so could do with sending that Overlord, just poking in to get a little confirmation that's down. Instead, he's getting up a really nice early lair timing, around 6 minutes 30, so good point to be getting that down. But the concern is with the Starport, with the armory finishing up, Hellbat drops are going to be on their way, and that is usually such a difficult thing to deal with. The double evolution chamber, double queen wall off at the natural base, A good move. I really like doing this on this map because it means that these Hellions and Reapers become so much less effective. All you've then got to worry about are drops, but if you get a couple of Roaches out, as we see the Roach run on its way down now, actually LoweLy shouldn't be too concerned about holding this off, but the Hellions and Reapers are going to be able to stop the creep spreading too much further. The evolution chamber's now done. Are we going to see some upgrades coming out? We may do. We'll just have to keep an eye out for when they do come. There is still the 4 gases down, but the 2 in the main base only now just starting to get mined from. So as it stands, with 1-1 ranged upgrades coming down, this is going to be quite a commitment to Roaches for the Zerg player. QXC though, he's sending these Hellbats slowly waddling across the map. The first medevacs also in production, so they'll get over, and that's once these Hellbats are here, they can just get quickly picked up and chucked in. There's an additional 2 also on the way out, so they can get picked up by the medevacs en route, and then you can go for the double Hellbat drop. So QXC really wanting to apply the pressure, all the while just happily getting more SCVs out, but LoweLy is able to drone like a madman, knowing that he's safe for the time being, but around the kind of 8 minutes 30 mark, he's aware the pressure could be coming in, so he starts up those first Roaches, ready to deal with any drops that could be occurring. And of course the Roaches are going to do a nice job of this. Burrow and Roach speed are coming down, so this is going to be a very aggressive play, but here comes the medevac on its way up into the main. The Roaches should spot it, and that means with the Queen's help, these Hellbat drops probably not going to be able to achieve too much. At the same time, another Hellbat drop coming down towards the natural base, but the one in the main getting easily dealt with. Simultaneously though, a push trying to come in to the main entrance of the natural, but the Queens there are going to put an end to it. The Overlords will spot the medevac coming in. Are the Roaches going to get pulled back in time? The answer is no, they're not. The drones are taking quite a bit of damage, but only a couple going down. A quick little build of a Spore and Spine means that that's just going to be able to do less. Spore and Spine coming down in the main base as well. QXC only managed to kill 3 drones this game so far. And with a double Hellbat drop, he would definitely have been looking to do a bit more. A quick check up to see, is there a third base? No, there isn't. But Burrow and 1-1 is nearly done. More Roaches on their way out. And with only bunkers here to defend and a handful of Hellbats and Hellions, this sort of push could be very effective. This medevac on 2 health does get sniped down by the Queen. Really nice pick off there. And of course 2 Hellbats were in there too. So anytime you snipe things like that off, it's going to be really solid. The Spine and Spore plus the Queens are going to be able to put up a nice little static defense to any drops that come in. All the while, these Roaches just moving across the map. Oh, these Hellions and the Reaper are going to run straight into them. This could be disastrous unless QXC is paying a lot of attention, but he isn't. Unfortunately, straight away, 2 of those Hellions go down. The rest should be able to get back. Use of the Overseer just to make sure there's no Widow Mines around. A couple of supply depots trying to get thrown into position just to increase the wall off, but with Burrow, this is going to mean that these Roaches can be so effective as long as they use them very well. There is a quick little snipe off coming down on the bunker. The Hellions and the Marauders trying to get taken down. There's so many ACVs getting pulled, but things looking fantastic now for LoweLy. And there is the GG. And LoweLy is going to be able to level this up to take the series 1-1, and that of course means we're going to get a game number 3. So make sure you like the video, leave a cool comment, and then I'll see you at game number 3 in just a second.